As a Megami Tensei fan, I've had one game in the back of my mind for the longest time. That game is SMT3 Nocturne. I have already tried it. Forgot about how long it was though, that's how long it's been. I started the game and with my gamer pride on the line, I picked hard mode. That was a bad idea. Eventually, I gave up when a green ghost blocked my path while I was stuck in a dungeon that had no fusion rooms. But now I'm here with a YouTube channel. My Atlas content does fairly well, and Nocturne is still on the back of my mind. Thus, one day, I decided, I'm finally gonna do it! To that end, I put up a poll asking you all, which should I play, Nocturne or Persona 4 Golden? Even back then, I was hesitant to play it again, but everybody wanted Nocturne. But this time, I picked normal difficulty so I can actually enjoy the game. Oh, chat's saying something. Hard difficulty for content. I'm hoping I don't regret this. So we start the game by introducing the human characters. At my stop at Yoyogi Park, I meet Hijiri, a writer for an occult magazine. Then I go to Shinjuku Medical Center and meet up with our friends Chiaki and Isamu. This hospital's real spooky though, nobody's around. I explore the place to find our sensei, and I stumble upon a man named Hikawa, who immediately tries to kill us. But Miss Takao arrives just in time to stop him and save our butt. She takes us to the roof where we witness the end of the world. The land warps into a sphere wrapped around a glowing ball. Why? How? I don't know. Atlas, I guess. The story's not the game's strongest point. Seems I survived the apocalypse, and Sojiro from Persona 5 is now a ball of light. He tells us to explore the new world. Then a kid and an old lady shoves a bug in my eye, which turns me into the demi-fiend, complete with tattoos and element-proof shorts. I find Hijiri staring at a terminal. I guess I should find more survivors. But I'm suddenly transported to an otherworldly tunnel, and in here I encounter every Mega 10 player's worst enemy, button shortcuts. I pressed the pass button and almost died during the first fight. Okay, so button shortcuts are easy to overcome, but these next ones are for real. Second fight, a prey tip pops up, and I miss a punch and almost die again. Now I'm out of healing items, and in the next fight against a Kodama and a Wisp, they score a critical hit and take me out in 2 turns. Chat says it's not a Nocturne run without a tutorial death, and I guess what the tutorial teaches you is you'll die. We can describe the real worst enemy in Nocturne in 3 letters. RNG. Critical hits are great when you get them, but it's awful when you're on the receiving end. And the reason why they're so bad in this game is not being able to save anywhere. I'd be exploring and fighting demons, and if I get hit by a bad crit, I'm gonna lose progress. Same with missing attacks too. And the game doesn't tell you which skills have low hit rates. The Demi-Fiend's first skill is Lunge. And the hit rate? Yeah, I don't think it's good. After surviving a tornado with 1 HP remaining, I slay my enemies and get transported back to the hospital, where I head to the save room for insurance. I don't want to go through that tunnel again. And as I look for the exit, I meet Pixie. She wants to go to Yoyogi Park, so she accompanies us to zap a bunch of Pretas. She can also heal us, so she's great. But even she is not exempt from critical hits out of nowhere. I recruit a few demons to my side, while dying 2 more times. Then I beat up the first boss Fornius with a bunch of Zeos from Pixie. That's the hospital done. We're getting stronger now, and as always, I'm thinking of getting a magic build. But chat says magic is doo-doo in this game. I guess for the first time in my life, I'm getting a physical build in a Mega 10 game. I'm also getting points in agility because, my god, even when an encounter is an ambush, enemies can still have the first turn. I'm hoping agility helps lessen that, otherwise I'd have a lot more SMT moments. Now we're out of the hospital and head on over to Yoyogi Park. I guess this is goodbye, Pixie, but I get the feeling she wants to stick around. Pixie is best girl in this game. She even evolves into High Pixie soon after. She is an amazing early game buddy. I find myself in Shibuya, and I did not expect this. Our friend Chiaki is still alive, partying at the club. Then she just dips out. I have no idea how she doesn't get SMT'd out there. Maybe I should just chalk it up to plot armor. And her armor just takes the form of denim. I also find Hijiri in Shibuya's terminal. At least this makes more sense. Maybe he's using the terminal to teleport around. I also take it for a spin, and it takes me to the Amala network. And during the first fight, I was just talking to chat when the game decides to knock me out. Put up the death counter, we're at 4 now. After getting another death from a bunch of elements zapping my weakness, I finally make it to the green ghost. But I've learned from my past mistake. I knew to stock up on good demons before entering this area, so I defeat the ghost on my first try. I have now made more progress than my first time around. But now I'm introduced to the Labyrinth of Amala, which according to chat is hell. We peep through a hole to watch the orientation by the lady in black and an old guy in a wheelchair who's clearly Lucifer. And after giving us a menorah, we're teleported to Ginza, where I find Jack Frost. Come with me, please? Yep. So which one of you guys want to leave? Not you, Pixie. Chat says to never let you go. Apparently, something good happens if we keep her for the rest of the game. Now I arrive at the sewers of Ginza, where I meet the human-like mannequins for the first time, and they're not trying to kill us at least. They send me on a side quest to loot from the Ginza bar, and it's here I meet Troll. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, if the Demi-Fiend faints, it's game over. Just how it should be in Megami Tensei. Wait, was this Tri-Hama? Insta-kills are not supposed to work against bosses, but I try it anyway. Oh, there we go! We did it! Oh wow, it worked. How was I supposed to know this? I celebrate by trading gems for 2 Dekaja rocks, but actually because chat said it'll be good for the next boss. You know, that boss, the wall of red cape that hinders every player's progress. A name I've heard in passing in hardest boss lists. Of course, on my way to him I get SMT'd. But here he is, the first Fiend Matador. He does crazy wind damage, but chat helped me prepare. I had to kill lots of manta rays and grind to level 18 just so I could fuse Ame no Uzume. Her wind nullify and party heal makes her fantastic support. Chat also told me to buy the Hifumi Magatama from this shop, which costs 12,000 Maka. That is way too much. I had to sell some stuff. Chat says it's because hard difficulty triples item prices in shops. God, even NPCs are being difficult. I also have to do something about Matador raising his evasion to max. Buffs are busted in this game because it works like in Pokemon. They stack and don't wear off after a few turns. But I tried Dekaja Rock to remove his buff, but I found out that he'll just reapply it. Okay, we're gonna need more help. I have Sudama drop his agility instead, and I managed to get to phase 2, where Matador decides to wipe me with 2 Andalusias in a row. So I have to slow him down and weaken him too. But not too much, or he'll use the Kunda to remove his debuffs completely. 2 stacks seem to be the limit. But I got lucky. A blob joins my party, and I fuse it with my Apsaras to summon Nozuchi. It drains wind attacks, and I inherit Blob's Tarunda on it, just to debuff Matador's attack. My second attempt was going well, until, again, upon entering the second phase, he uses taunt to drop my defense and wipe me with a single Andalusia. I gotta do something about that move. And I figure since Matador really likes using Red Capote when his agility isn't buffed, maybe I can use my Dekaja rocks to waste his moves? I play the first half slow and steady, keeping tabs on his health, and after I do 400 damage, it's time to go all out. And this actually worked, until it was ruined by my lunges missing right near the end. Yeah, you see why this thing sucks now? But finally, my 4th attempt, my demons land 3 critical hits and swiftly slay Matador. Well, we're finally past that. He drops another menorah and I celebrate by going back to save the game. If there's anything chat's taught me, it's this. Even more so because there's a lot more sewer to go through before the exit, with a high risk of SMT. It's at this point that the encounter rate is starting to get annoying. I like exploring dungeons and finding treasure, but there are just so many fights in between. I would very much like to just escape from them, but it never works. Chat says it's because of hard difficulty. We'll need to either use a smoke ball or a stoma. Also, towns in this game are not safe havens. You'll still encounter demons, almost no area is safe really. So I limp around Ikebukuro for a while trying to find a healing room. I also try to recruit more demons. Doesn't go well because negotiations in Nocturne are kinda ass. They first ask for your money and loot, and oftentimes they'll just leave. That is not an angel, nope. On the bright side, my Demi-Fiend acquired 2 great skills. Fog Breath drops enemy agility greatly, and Focus is a power-up for my physical skills. I love charge skills personally. Big numbers equal dopamine rush. I enter the Mantra's headquarters and finally find our other plot-armored friend. Isamu's over there being smacked by Thor's hammer. As we'll find out later, his armor is his hat. During the Mantra trial, Thor kicked my ass, so chat said I should explore the Labyrinth of Amala to get a few levels. It's an optional dungeon that I have to finish to get the much talked about True Demon ending. Chat makes me feel like my run will be invalid without it. At least it has a minigame that allows us to farm for cash, makes up for the 200% markup during hard difficulty. I grind off stream so much, at least it saves my MP issue. I can now buy as many chocolate drops as I want. Okay, I know that in the remaster, I can change the difficulty for a moment just to buy items at a discount, but doing that wouldn't be maximum pain, and clearly that won't do for a Nocturne run. I need more Minoras to keep exploring the labyrinth though, so I get back to Tor. Once I fog breath him, he was missing all day with his attacks. Yeah, how do you like losing your turn? Haha. Special guest Raido also shows up to challenge me. FYI, he can be replaced by Dante if we pick the Maniacs mode at the beginning of the game, but I think mechanics-wise they're the same character. Hypixie, however, can no longer keep up with my enemies. Chat, can I fuse her away? Well, apparently it's fine, just don't use the part with command. Okay then, I guess I'll put her soul inside Dee's bald head. I meet Gozu Tenno, who asks us to join their fight against the Assembly of Nihilo. And on my way there, I run into the next fiend, Daisojo. He wasn't too hard. Apart from that one time he decides to use Mahama'an to insta-kill everyone but me. Game, why bother sparing me? Just give me my game over already. Chat's also hyping up Daisojo as a really good party member, so I keep that in mind. I'm too low level for now though. After chasing around the most annoying Kaiwan in the series, and also catching a Tengu's Kamikaze with my face, I confront Hikawa, and he immediately tries to kill me. One thing I learned from this boss fight, the difficulty depends on whether the boss can remove buffs or debuffs. This one had neither, so poor Osei got owned. On my way to the next dungeon, I run into Nicolas Cage, the third fiend. Funny enough, I only lost here once because I misclicked. Hellbiker absorbed my wind magic and KOs two of my demons. From there it was downhill. Yeah, that's another thing about Nocturne. One mistake can be your downfall. I move on to Kabuki-cho prison, and by this point I was sick of random encounters. It's making my overall experience worse. So I recruit an Archangel specifically to get the skill Estoma. It'll only repel low-level demons, but I'll take anything I can get. Also, Dee's levels up to 27, and she evolves into Valkyrie. Pixie, you're becoming so amazing. She devastates this dungeon with the fire magic she inherited from Dee's. The big snack fight is funny though. The thing shrinks as it takes damage. Okay, that's cute. We also set the mannequin leader free, whose name is Futomimi. And, I don't know how you managed to get captured again so soon, Isamu. Oh, he's gone cuckoo and disappears into the terminal. Well, that's one. Before proceeding to Ikebukuro Tunnel, since I'm finally level 37, I fuse a Daisojo. Let's see what's so good about you. And now to make my life harder by taking on the optional Oni bosses. Fuki and Suiki are easily slain by Demi-Fiend's physical prowess, but then there's this guy. Kinky's a problem. He buffs his attack and defense, he one-shots my demons, plus his physical resistance is actually 90% damage reduction. I was doing so little damage, he wasn't even close to dead after 30 minutes. He really likes physical skills though, so I know what to do. Mr. Monkey, you're up. Liked it if you did not... Oh, there. Oh, take that, boy. Moments like this are what makes playing Shin Megami Tensei so satisfying. I wait until a full moon to take on Ongyoki. Thanks for that tip, chat. And I actually already know that this fight is similar to Haismei from Metaphor Refantasio. Thanks for that tip, comment section. Ongyoki replicates, I punch the one with a shadow, we repeat the stance until Ongyoki dies. And that's about it, he couldn't even attack once. I arrive at Asakusa, but before proceeding, some housekeeping. I fuse Pixie's soul from Valkyrie into Kushinada. She just keeps growing and growing. Next, I had to clear the second Kalpa of the Labyrinth of Amala, just to make the 4 Horsemen show up to challenge me. Or wait for me somewhere out there. Plus, I acquire Game Changer of a skill. Warcry debuffs my enemy's offensive stats by a ton. I sure am glad I kept this skill. We'll find out why by the end. Back to the Horsemen, they're just hanging around in random spots in the world. I wouldn't know where to look if not for chat's guidance. White Rider was in Asakusa, he wasn't much of an issue. And I had to go back to the sewers to take on the Red Rider. And it's here that I see Daisojo's benefit. He has Prayer, the best healing skill in the game. And with his signature move Meditate, he can absorb the enemy's MP to fuel himself. He also blocks insta-kills and status effects. Chat says we can carry him to endgame, and I can see why. While exploring Asakusa, I find a kid beside an arcade machine, and I love this part. Welcome to the minigame Puzzle Boy, the bane of Nocturne completionists. Not for me though, I love puzzle games like this. I swore to chat that I'd clear this minigame without a guide, and I did exactly that. Only took me 90 minutes too. Now I'm at the Obelisk, where 30 hours into the game, I finally have a replacement for Lunge. Divine Shot is much stronger and more accurate. Life is good right now. Also, I'm now making sure I always have a demon with Trafuri. I might be underleveled now from avoiding so many fights, so I use this to run away whenever I want, which is often. It also comes in clutch whenever the game tries to SMT me, but sometimes it happens anyway. I get ambushed by monkeys who immediately kill me, wasting 30 minutes of my time. God. Whatever, the Moray sisters are next, and they're actually a piece of cake. Honestly, the puzzle before fighting them was actually trickier. I also discover here that Magatamas that make you weak to insta-kills suck. Don't use them. Atop the obelisk, we rescue Takao-sensei, and that's all the humans accounted for, which means it's all downhill from here. After a quick intermission to slay Black Rider at the hospital, we visit the Amala network again. The green ghosts return to try and make me quit, and I see Isamu turn into a demon. I told you it's all downhill from here. And the last horseman shows himself on my way to the next dungeon. He's not difficult either, but best ignore the skulls he summons or they'll explode and I'll die. I go to Yoyogi Park to fight Sakahagi, where he summons an elephant. This is the point where the game starts blocking physical skills completely. Gotta make sure I'm armed with magic damage. It's not great, but it's necessary. Sakahagi drops this triangle, and we give it to Takao-sensei, and a god possesses her. Great, not her too. Over at the Mantra headquarters, Chiaki fuses with Gozu Tenno to turn into a denim fiend, and... oh, I'm so disconnected to the story of this game. Yeah, during my stream I said the story is peak. Nah, that's not right. In hindsight, it's not that good. I don't know if anyone finds the plot of this game captivating, but I certainly don't. I feel like I'm just watching everyone go insane while I follow Hijiri's requests. And speaking of Hijiri, yep, he's also losing his mind. After a bit of progress, my demi-fiend learns the skill Endure, another skill that I did not know I needed for what's about to come. Now I'm at the Amala Temple. The puzzles here are quite nice, but none of the bosses are particularly interesting. Alshio does have one skill with a funny name, and of course chat has a few YouTube-friendly nicknames for it. Inside the central altar, Isamu drops Hijiri in Magatsuhi, and he turns into a god in the shape of a mammal. That's one human down. And Chiaki the Denim Fiend follows suit. She murders Futomimi and turns into a god herself. Now for the last two of the fiends. Mother Harlot's a bit of a bitch. She drains physical attacks, so I had to unleash my magic team. Pixie Soul is now inside Snake-chan here. She did good work with her Glacial Blast here. And the last fiend is Trumpeter, who has a gimmick that will either heal or insta-kill a target. Chat said the insta-kill targets the member with the most HP. Except for the time Snake-chan had the lowest. Screw figuring this out, I'll just overwhelm him and end the fight quickly. But of course, he fully heals himself first. I could not figure out this gimmick of his, so this one felt like a luck-based fight. What did... okay, it missed. Okay. And now onto the Diet Building, which is definitely my favorite dungeon in the entire game. The illusion gimmicks are a lot of fun. Also, I heard legends about something that can happen during the boss fight against Moth. It's not in the remastered version though, fortunately. At the end of the dungeon, Takao-sensei fades away and Hikawa reveals his demonic foreign Ari man. But not before he tries to kill us, of course. But now the stage is set for the endgame. There are 4 groups trying to create a new world. The Denim Fiend, the Demi-Samu, Hikawa, and I think the Mannequins too. Then there's us, the Demi-Fiend, and our choice is already clear. Chat's been bothering me about it since the beginning, so I go through the 3 remaining Kalpas of the Labyrinth of Amala. The 3rd Kalpa in particular was fun. I got to play a thrilling game of tag against Raido. The 4th Kalpa's boss though? Oof, the Beelzebub fight was horrible. All because of them death flies. It does damage and can insta-kill. How am I supposed to fight this? What's this? Chat says change to a Magatama that nullifies dark. Yeah, that's the key here, which I probably wouldn't have figured out on my own. At least I had the perfect demon. Vitala carried this fight. The guy not only healed the party, but also did a lot of damage in the long run. I did not expect him to contribute so much. Even so, that fight took as long as it took me to finish Puzzle Boy. I am exhausted, but I had to do this stupid side quest, which went like this. Visit the second Kalpa to talk to Beelzebub's minion there, talk to Loki who's back in the bar at Ginza, pick up the star key from the collector mannequin in Asakusa, return to the third Kalpa to open the door with the star key and flip a switch, and now we can access the fifth Kalpa from the fort. Chat is unanimous in saying it's a huge hassle to have to do this. At least we're rewarded by Rido joining the party. His unique skills are very useful. The fifth Kappa has a lot of doors that only opens if you present demons that qualify. Most just check the stats, but some have unique qualifiers. Like this one door that says, "Let the one who has been with you the longest step forward." And I almost forgot about this. I fused away Snake-chan into who's now Kali, so I think this is it. The door opens, and from within Kali emerges... Pixie? Did we get a downgrade? What, level 80? And look at those skills! So, this is our reward. I gotta say, super-powered Pixie is nice, but I don't think her skill pool's ideal. I'm sorry, Pixie, you'll just have to sit back for the rest of the game. The last boss of the labyrinth is Metatron. He was unbelievably basic compared to Beelzebub. I beat him on my first attempt, and thank God too. The save point is really far away. Lucifer congratulates us for making it this far, and they reward us with the skill Pierce. The Demi-Fiend's physical attacks are now unstoppable. Well, almost. It can still get reflected. No! Damn! But now my playthrough's locked into the True Demon ending. Onto the final dungeon, the Tower of Kagutsuchi. First, we have to slay the competition. First off is Hikawa. His damage with Apocalypse is ridiculous. At one point, he KO'd my demons. Rido's just a Chad though, taking little damage from physical hits. And too bad, Hikawa can't remove his debuffs. Once I got some dodges in, I regained ground and tore him apart with the Demi-Fiend's power. That's one rival down. Midway through the tower, I buy the last Magatama I'm missing to complete my collection. But now for one final detour. I'm off to Bondo Shrine to get the ultimate Magatama. And the only obstacle here was Bishamonten. Oh no, not you again. I thought I saw the last of you in Devil Survivor. So what's up with this? He can buff his attack 4 times and use an AoE in his preemptive strike. I haven't even done anything yet. This is ridiculous. I had to spec in fire blocking skills and hope that he doesn't wipe me during his preemptive turn. Anyone else think this fight was badly designed? But after that, Masakado appears and gives me the best Magatama in the game. It nullifies everything except Almighty, so I'm pretty much untouchable by regular demons now. Demi-Samu's our next boss fight, and of course, his final form keeps the hat. It's the source of his power, I'm convinced. He's only vulnerable to one element at a time, but Rido just pierces through it with his Tekisatsu attack, and my Nyx has complete coverage for extra damage. He was not an issue, and after the fight, my Demi-Fiend also learns his most powerful attack, Fry Kugo, our almighty eye laser. This made Chiaki the Denim Fiend the easiest rival to defeat. She just summons minions that support her in combat. Take them out first, and Chiaki couldn't do much more. And with our rivals out of the picture, the way is clear to the final boss. I'm not sure what to expect, so I just go in. And the final boss is... Sojiro the Disco Ball. To my surprise though, it's not that difficult. The first form has both Dekaja and Dekunda, but its attacks are too weak to do any real damage. The second phase, however, is nothing but a head. Atlus really likes their head final bosses. The real threat in the second phase is Infinite Light, which does big damage. I learned that the hard way. But after just a short fight, I destroy Kagutsuchi, and the game is who am I kidding? We already know what's coming. We have one final obstacle before we get the True Demon ending. It's time to... wait, we hear Lucifer's voice.
Populated by mankind.
Is that you, Colonel? Anyway, the real final boss is Lucifer. And what can I say about this fight that hasn't already been said before? Lucifer lulls you into a false sense of security at first. These magic attacks are doing no damage, but he really lets loose during his second phase. The Kaja and Dukunda are unlocked to wipe buffs and debuffs, and High King is even more powerful than Infinite Light. Without any stat changes, it does 800 damage. I only have 720 HP. But his worst skill has to be Root of Evil. From what I can tell, it deals a random amount of damage that isn't affected by buffs. What's that, chat? Oh, it also removes my party's buffs. Apparently, with this skill, and if you're unlucky, Lucifer can just end the fight in an instant. This was rough, and after 3 attempts, I realized I can't beat Lucifer with my current party. He's so epic, he can just point at you and it's a critical hit. Okay, deep breaths. I take a lot of time to set up what I think I'll need. First, the skills I need from my allies. Debilitate or Warcry to debuff Lucifer's attack. Rakukaja to buff our defense. Mediarahan and Samurai Karm to make sure the party's healthy. And finally, Endure and Life Surge for bonus toughness. So all the skills I've been learning on my Demi-Fiend is now going to pay off. I even managed to get Life Surge for myself. Fog Breath has no value in this fight, since Lucifer's strongest attacks can't miss. I look over the skills I need and which demons are best to give them to, and it's here that I realized she was at my side all along. My guiding pixie! She already comes with Endure and the healing skills we need. Okay, you can join, but I first have to fuse it with me Thomas to give you more skills. Thus, it begins. I farm plenty of Maka in the Labyrinth minigames. Then I get to fusing, trying out different demon combos to get the skills I need. The compendium is a great help here. And this is the result. Ladies and gentlemen, Uber Pixie. And with Rongda and Res Velgar as backup, we shall defeat Lucifer. Our bonus HP still won't be enough to ensure survival. Lucifer might just use High King twice. So to make sure we can survive 2 of them in a row, I make sure to always have 4 stages of either Lucifer's attack debuffed or my party's defense buffed. And chat even helps me keep track. Pixie can also boost the damage we do by debuffing Lucifer's defense with Debilitate. Raido's there primarily just to fish for critical hits, but it's the Demi-Fiend that will steadily do damage with Focus Raikugo. If anyone gets KO'd, I switch to defense until Lucifer decides to cooperate and ease up on his onslaught a bit. Fortunately, he can still use his paltry magic skills at second phase. Still, there's one problem with my party, which I realized too late. Lucifer can inflict charm with Evil Gleam, and this can happen. No, we don't have a skill like that. Well, shit. You bird brain, what did you do? Ah, that set us back a full 30 minutes. It's too late to correct though, I just have to hope that doesn't happen again. Fortunately, healing Lucifer reverts him back to his weak phase. After regrouping and another 15 minutes of combat, Lucifer uses his own healing skill. And this is why chat was asking whether we picked Raido or Dante. Only in the Raido route will Lucifer use Diarahan once during the fight. This effectively turns his 65,000 HP into 100,000. No matter what, it's a long battle of attrition. There was a moment where I survived with just 6 HP after a Root of Evil. I even forgot that it removes buffs, but I'm glad chat reminded me of it. But every move counts, every decision has a reason. We have to keep our defense up. We have to keep healing. We have to focus up and do damage. We have to revive party members as they faint. And after 40 more minutes of this, and a double High King, yep, there it is, Lucifer finally fades away, signifying the end of the game. With Pixie by my side, I have become a true demon. And after 21 episodes, 80 hours, and 54 deaths, I get it. I get why Shin Megami Tensei fans love this game. The simplest way I can put it is, it's Dark Souls in Megami Tensei form. Challenging combat within a fascinating universe. Above all, the dungeons are cut above every other Megami Tensei game I've played. I really like the puzzles in this one. Discovering the world is what makes you want to keep going, but oh boy, random encounters make you want to stop. I have other gripes about the game, but this is number 1. Ah well, what's there to do? This is how most JRPGs were back then. So I'm glad I had chat with me, not just for the tips, but also just for hanging out. I would have had a way worse experience if not for them being there. And my channel also got its very first YouTube member during this. Nice! Now, I'm hoping Atlas's next game has as good dungeon design as this one. The dungeons in Metaphori Fantasio are so plain in comparison. So please, Atlas? Thanks for making it to the end of the video. Here's a shout out to my current members. I hope the wait was worth it. Make sure to leave a like on the video and comment on how your Nocturne experience was. Hope you have a lovely day. See you next time.